catch them off guard.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the conclusion of Bigetron Alpha and Geek Fam is upon us. Spam it in the chat. Who do you favor? Who do you support? Bigetron Alpha and Geek Fam, Game 3. Here we go.
vynn already very aggressive. Going in, Niall, interesting choice, going for the orange buff first. This means that, you know, he wants to utilize that purple buff a bit more to go for the ganks, but he might actually lose out on the orange buff. He already used the retribution. Good information now for Bigetron Alpha if they want to try to invade.
Classic Super vynn maneuvers here. But look at Super Sorizo's emblem, Quantum Charge Grok. With the assassin base emblem, of course, it means he's trying to go a bit more aggressive and he's trying to chase people down. So it's the same idea with the Paquito he brought in game number 1. But on a Grok, I can't help but feel like it's a bit less efficient, a bit less effective, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see indeed here. I'm looking at the lane matchup, right? It's very iffy. You know, I mean, Carry does well going up against a Claude here. Item checks and spell check here. 2 Purifies were brought here. So, again, Baloyskie needs to somehow count his timing, I guess, when he really wants to come in on towards Super Saken or Super Key.
Correction, that was the old Claude and the old Carry, where Carry actually wins out against the Claude. Now, it's very Claude-centric, actually. When it comes to this matchup, the Claude is going to have a very good time bullying the Carry, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. That's why when I saw the Carry pick, it was really very interesting. Not a lot of high HP members from Geek Fam. It's only technically the Kufra. Yes, a lot of sustain from the Arlet, but the Farsa, Ling, and Claude can actually just eat this Carry up. So we'll see how it gets utilized here. Super vynn already is forced to flicker. That's a defensive flicker early on. Should just be Geek Fam who has more pressure to play with in the first turtle.
Right now, they're just dancing around it as usual, but as we mentioned, with more crowd control, with more burst damage, Geek Fam certainly has a bit of an advantage, but with Super Ken just flying around right here, it might be a bit too dangerous, but the Wild Charge comes in.
Yep, only on to Luke though. Oh, wow, that burst from Super Key as well. First blood, and the Ultra comes down. Niall tries to steal it away, but Super Ken with a solid retribution brings him back. Niall picks up the blades and gets out, but now the purple buff is at risk. He used the retribution earlier. Bigetron Alpha have more to play with, more resources. Baloy, Tyrant's Revenge, onto the back, only onto vynn. Ken dealing damage, double the rhythm as well. A boy with a flicker, backhand! Dives in, finds the kill. It's a disaster for Geek Fam. Even Key just purifying out of the final slash.
Oh, what a connection there by Bigetron Alpha. They were able to understand that, yeah, we can take this fight. And take a look at the snowball effect, right? The purple buff take was delayed. Multiple members from inside of Geek Fam taken down, and they have established 1,000 gold lead here in that first minute here. Arashi, what can Geek Fam do? They have 0 compensation whatsoever.
It's a little bit more elusive with how they engage the fights. For the side of Bigetron Alpha, they are playing around that cult altar very, very well. Markyy, though, shows up in the mid lane unexpectedly. Super Key really seems quite surprised there. But as usual, Bigetron Alpha tries to just macro around. Later on, they'll have more of an issue team fighting, but with the 2 Purifies in the hands of Super Key and Super Saken, they could probably actually have a decent chance on fighting because they won't be stuck together. And so even if Baloyskie gets a very good engage, you can bet that one of the people he engages on will be able to purify away from that combo.
Yeah, it's not as juicy as if you're not with a Purify, right? So now, seems like the focus is going to be the bot side here. Super Ken already joining the fray as well. Baloyskie, though,
Gonna be caught in Divine Judgment, suppression, and the burst damage. Super Ken diving deep with the rhythm, finds the kill. In the back, Defiant Blade coming in, a boy gonna be bursted down. Super Saken, almost able to escape, but Markyy dives in deep. Niall with the top of the place, though. Purple Buffy loses the mana, or the energy rather. He loses his life in the process, so Rizzo just eats up the CC. Wild Charge, knocking him up. Bigetron Alpha 6-1.
Man, 4 minutes in. Bigetron Alpha looking like a whole different team here, especially if you're comparing it to game 2. Geek Fam, they look lost now with this composition. They got a little bit driven by the tempo that Bigetron Alpha is driven with, right? And Geek Fam, they need to slow things down. Sure, they have a lane. Sure, they have a Farsa. They have mobility in their comp, their kit. But at this point, they're behind 2,000 gold. Not a good game situation that they really want to go and fight.
It's a very simple game plan from Bigetron Alpha as well. Engage on the engage tool, and then once Baloyskie is out of the picture, that's where SuperKen comes in and just goes ham. 4 kills in his hands, and SuperKey will be able to walk away from that engage. And you can see, Geek Fam, they are struggling to actually get the kind of picks they want, like in game number 2, and they have a very limited supply.
Yeah, another wasted resource, but take a look at the top side here, Markyy. Premature blazing duet, perhaps.
No, I'm just trying to clear up the wave. Trying to just relieve off the pressure from the dive, but SuperKen still wants to commit onto it. Conceal here used up, even with the blazing duet onto the waves. It's still one cannon minion there, and it's enough to actually go for it. Nile with a very good invade actually won't be able to get here in time unless wave almost, just very, very close. Luckily for Nile, SuperKen does not have the red tree, but that's a lot of damage.
Wow. I mean, he's 4-0 and 1, so it does make sense. But look at this, Luke might just be chased down again. This is what we're talking about. No backwards mobility, but thankfully, the jungle minion was in range. But the more Bigetron Alpha is able to take away vision and control from Geek Fam, the more that Divine Judgment becomes such a dangerous tool.
Yep, things are not looking good here. Still 3,000 gold behind, and now SuperKen will eat that orange buff freely and taking more than enough camps to the hands of Nile, who is still struggling. 0-1-1. Baloy, though, catches one.
Rage only onto Vynn, though. Coulter comes down, saving him, and look at the onslaught from Bigetron Alpha. The re-engage, Super Vynn going to be taken down by Nile, but the assassin falls as well. That's a double for SuperKen. Markyy, so farming now, going to be clapped there by the power of nature. Still has a few basic attacks to throw out, but Cerezo just eats it up, and BTR claim the 4,000 gold lead. Look for some dive here. Key walks up, gets stunned up. A boy, no feathered airstrike. Free turret.
Keep in mind here, SuperKen is building up his farm, building up his equipment very, very well. He's on his way towards his 3rd item, and things are gonna look bad for 2 worse here for out of Geek Fam. He has a corrosion, he has a DHS and golden self already on his way towards that corrosion perhaps, and it's not gonna be easy here for Luke. Poor Baloyskie, who is building that tank, because the true damage from SuperKen is going to be evident. The damage here is in replay, though. What happened?
Let's look at this fight again. Initially, it seems like there's a combo being set up by Geek Fam, but the Cult Altar just denies the kill initially and forces everyone to just overcommit and stay in that area for the rest of Bigetron Alpha to come in. We talked about who actually comes first has an advantage. Baloyskie, though! Baloyskie!
Is that a bombastic moment?
Oh no, that's not that, you know, there was no damage, but that was definitely emotional damage.
Oh man.
My God.
Without that engage tool here, Luke goes in, but that might be a mistake.
And Bigetron Alpha, they love playing up against Cupra players, I guess. SuperKen just dives under the turret, taking so much damage. Nile dives deep. SuperKen just walks out of it. And this should be another free turret again for Bigetron Alpha.
What is that damage, my guy? He just does a drive-by on 3 members, chunking them to below half HP. What is that?
That's what 7,000 gold lead looks like. All right, particularly Nile. Has enough energy to go away that time. But take a look at the build setup comparison here by both of the teams, Nile and SuperKen.
Experienced jungler with the killing spree actually for the hands of Nile. He wants to be a bit more aggressive here in the jungle, looking for a bit more kills. But for SuperKen, it's all about getting in the back, going for those weak spots initially, and then just, slowing them down and then hitting them with the rest of the burst. It seems to be how you want to play this Joy. And both of them, I think if they duel right now, it's a bit obvious who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Ling, right, very different playstyle. Seasonal Hunter, the other one wants skill, but take a look at the mid side here.
Good call altered by SuperKey, still able to survive there. Divine Judgment on the flicker combo. They're locking Baloyskie down now. Blazing duet from Markyy on the back, but wow, SuperKen! He finds the damage. SuperKen is godlike. And he just picked up a double kill out of nowhere. BTR! 9.4 thousand gold lead.
Man, in game 2, it was quite close, but game 3, I did not expect this from Geek Fam. 10,000 gold of deficit, and Bigetron Alpha. With this Lord here, the first one, they might be able to just crack the base turrets here. Looking at the gold cap, it's not looking good here for Geek Fam.
That is an insane gold gap, but keep in mind, the heroes on the side of Bigetron Alpha, they don't really have a lot of siege potential. If they want to crack open the base, it has to be done on the back of a pick or a big team fight.
Oh.
Look at that though, Super Ken says, nah, not on my watch. Nile once again gets denied, and he is so painfully behind.
We're trying to compete with Suns for also recalls here, right? I mean, not just stats. 10.8k in 10 minutes, Arashi. Super Saken. I thought he had the win in nature. That's why he was able to tank or soak up the Blazing Duet, but he didn't. He took it like a man.
Just took it with the shielding, and here comes the Lord. Here comes Super Sorizo blocking the channels off, funneling Geek Fam into a position. There might be an engage soon. Super Ken just baiting it out. So dangerous, baiting out so many things with that small feint, small dash forwards.
Let's see here. This might be the final offense.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
They're going to watch up again! Markyy got deleted! Baloy finds a 3-man, but it's all for naught. Bigetron Alpha takes the third game easily, dominantly.